In a peaceful village, tucked between green fields and winding rivers, stood a grand old banyan tree. Right at the edge of the road, beneath its sprawling branches, was a simple wooden bench, worn down by time but still strong. Every single evening, at exactly 5 o'clock, an old man named Hari would make his way there. He always carried a small tiffin box, a cloth bag, and a calm, gentle smile. The villagers saw him every day. He would sit quietly, his gaze fixed on the dusty road that led out of the village and towards the town. Children would play their games nearby, elders on their evening walks would pass him by, and shopkeepers would nod a familiar greeting, but Hari rarely spoke. He just sat. He just waited. One day, a curious young boy named Ravi couldn't hold back his question any longer. He walked up to the old man and asked, "Uncle, who are you waiting for every day?" Hari's smile softened. He looked at Ravi and said, "For someone I haven't seen in a very long time." Ravi tilted his head, confused. "How do you know they'll come?" he asked. Hari's reply was simple and full of conviction. "I don't, but she said she would." And I believe her. Soon, whispers started to flutter through the village. Some folks guessed he was waiting for his wife, who had perhaps passed away. Others thought it must be a daughter who had married and moved far from home, or maybe a son who had left to find work in a distant city. Nobody really knew the truth. But Hari's routine never changed. He came every single day, whether it was under the scorching summer sun, through the relentless monsoon storms, or in the biting chill of winter. The bench under the banyan tree was his post. Years went by. Ravi grew from a small boy into a young man, but Hari remained a constant, unwavering figure on that bench. He had grown thinner over time, and his steps were slower, but he never, ever missed a day. One evening, the sky opened up. Rain poured down in sheets and thunder boomed across the valley. It was a terrible storm, yet through the downpour, Ravi saw a familiar silhouette. It was Hari, sitting on his bench. Ravi, now a teenager, grabbed an umbrella and rushed out to him. "Uncle, please go home," he pleaded. "It's not safe out here. Why are you still waiting in this weather?" Hari looked up at Ravi, his face illuminated by a flash of lightning. He spoke softly, his voice barely audible over the rain. "Today is the day she said she'd return. 20 years ago, on this very date, she promised." The next morning the storm had passed, leaving the world washed clean. But the bench was empty. Hari wasn't there. He never returned. That same afternoon, a car, something you didn't see often in the village, drove up and stopped near the banyan tree. A woman stepped out. Her face was aged, lined with time and experience, but you could still see a striking beauty in her features. In her hand, she clutched a faded, worn letter. She approached a nearby shopkeeper and asked, her voice trembling slightly, "Is there an old man named Hari who sits under this banyan tree?" Ravi, who had been watching from a distance, overheard her. He walked over slowly. "There was," he said quietly. "He waited for you." Every single day. The woman's shoulders slumped. She walked to the bench and sat down, right where Hari had sat for all those years. Her eyes welled up with tears as she looked down the long, empty road. She placed the old letter beside her on the wooden seat. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the banyan tree overhead, and for just a moment it felt as if Hari was still there sitting beside her, smiling his calm, patient smile.